Jack Perrin, UFO Mystery, Chapter 18. A girl condemned to death, saved by a humanoid surgeon. The amazing case of the cure in Brazil, reported by Mr. Olavo Fontes on the 17th of March 1958. My friend João Martins at this time was writing a series of articles on the magazine The Cruise about the wave of UFOs in 1957. He received a letter dating 14th of May 1958 in Rio de Janeiro. Dear Mr. João Martins, I read your articles and I wanted to congratulate you. I believe in the existence of the UFOs because I saw one once. I don't know if you're going to believe me, but I swear from what I have the dearest that I'm telling the truth. I am poor, but I am honest. I don't want my real name to be revealed. I hope you understand. My name is Maria. I'm 37 years old and I'm living in Rio de Janeiro now. Until December of 1957, I worked at Mr. X, my late patron. He was a man from Rio, very rich, and I'm sorry, I cannot reveal his name. His daughter had stomach cancer, and she suffered horribly. I was hired to work there at the house as a maid, but mainly to take care of the girl, Miss Laís. This girl had been over all sorts of treatments, but the doctors said there was no hope of saving her. In August of 1957, my patron took the whole family, to a little farm that he had in Petropolis, waiting that this good climate would help her daughter. but the days gone by and I could not see any recoveries. She couldn't eat. The pain was insufferable, and she was constantly having morphine injections. On the night of the 25th of October, I remember very well. Miss Laiz suffered horribly. The injections didn't have any effect. We thought that she was gonna die. My patron was crying when suddenly a strong light came on this side of the farm. We were on the room of the little girl that has a window that goes to the right side of the house. The compartment was completely illuminated. No, the compartment was only illuminated by a chandelier, a table chandelier, a small bedside table chandelier. So there was such a strong light, it looked like a beam projected into the interior. The son of the patron ran to the window and he saw a disc. It wasn't very big. I cannot really say or calculate the height or the diameter. I know it wasn't very big, and I know it wasn't very big, and the top part radiated a yellow luminosity, a yellow reddish luminosity. Suddenly, it opened a sort of it's sort of a porthole, and two figures gone out of this porthole. They were coming on the direction of the house when the other being stayed at the door of the device. The entrance darkened, and afterwards, but inside there was a greenish light that it looked like the lights at the nightclubs. The two beings then got in the house. They were about 1 meter, 0.20 centimeters, and they were smaller than the younger son of my patron that had 10 years old. They had blonde hair, a little bit reddish, very long hair that went until the shoulders. The eyes were small and teared like the Asians, but with a very dark green color. They had their hands covered, I think they were gloves, with a white, thick cloth. The gloves were white, but the palm and the back Okay, so the chest and the back of their being and their waist were incandescent. I don't know how I can explain. They approximated the bed of the little girl that was crying in pain and had her uh, buggly eyes without understanding what was happening. Nobody would move or talk on an anxious wait. The room on the room, it was me, Mr. X and his wife, the little boy, and the woman, and another boy, which was the youngest son of the patron that has 10 years old. The beings looked at me silently and talked next to the bed. They put some things that they were carrying on top of the bedding. They made a gesture to Mr. X, to the father, one of them putting his hand on the forehead of my patron, and he started to describing by telepathy the disease of his daughter. On the room reigned the most profound silence. The two figures then starting to illuminate the belly of the girl with the yellow light. That would show the interior of the body. All of us saw the belly from the inside with another instrument that did some sort of clicking noise. They, they pointed to the stomach of the girl. All of us saw the ulcer. The surgery took about half an hour. The little girl was sleeping and then they went away. But before they left the house, they contacted Mr. X by telepathy and told him that he should give her remedies for a month and gave him a spherical box that looks to be metal or steel, and inside there were 30 spherical capsules corresponding to the dose of 1 pill per day. At the end of this treatment, she should be cured. The little girl was cured after this date, just like the humanoids had arranged with Mr. X, which avoided all the publicity. In December, a few days before I left the house, the little girl went back to the doctor, which noted that she didn't have any cancer. I left the family promising that I wouldn't say anything about the subject. I'm telling you the story now, but I ask you, um, okay, I'm telling you the story now, but I'm asking you to keep it a secret. If the case is mentioned on your articles, it won't have consequences because the names won't be published. I swear to you that everything happened as I told you. My little girl, Lays, was condemned to die with stomach cancer and was saved almost at the end with an instrument that looked like a Duracell charge, those cylinders to charge, that emitted rays that illuminated the cancer and then it cured itself. These beings made other cures to people in our planet so that we wouldn't be afraid of them. They saved this little girl, but on the same night, they left to their disk. Confidentially, they come from Mars to look for magnesium, and afterwards they purify it on their planet. They use this magnesium to build and make devices. They don't have any intention of fighting our Earth population. And I know this because I heard Mr. X telling the family, please don't put me in an embarrassing situation. If you divulge the case, don't tell it you knew it from Anasia Maria. I don't want to look like a scummy person and and a snitch, and I don't want to have problems with my older patron. I just want to tell you these things so that I can help on your investigations. I'm sorry if I'm not telling you my address. I live in Rio de Janeiro, in a in the in the neighborhoods. Um, I am honest and sincere. I don't want interviews because of my older patron. I thank you for your attention. The author of the letter is in truth a person with not much culture, but after all, the letter is live, and even though her Portuguese wasn't very good, she tells her adventure just like we were living it and we were present. There are also technical details that are very interesting, just that, like the bluish light that could permit to watch the interior of the stomach of the little girl, like a sort of X-ray. The instrument looked like a small Duracell pill, a recharge, and undoubtedly it emitted a sort of radiation that destroyed the cancerous cells. Could it be an advanced form of telepathy based on cobalt? This is a question. And also the treatment of chemotherapeutics that concluded the cure, which has a certain logic to it. On another aspect is the telepathics used by the physical contact. There is also the description of the small humanoids with the blonde, reddish hair, teared eyes like the Asians, which happens with many other cases. Even though I was almost putting this case on the side, on which part we talk when we talk about telepathy, in which I do not believe. I only didn't do it because of another case that also appears on my dossier that looked like the night of the 10th of October of 1957, or else 15 days before that one. I'll just give you a quick extract on that case. Suddenly, an automatic door opened on this object, just like of a conveyor. There were two people that came out, after more two, and even two finally, and the seventh that came between the groups formed by the people coming out before. They were similar to the beings from Earth, but they were shorter, with the hair to their shoulders, and shiny suits to the chest. When this little man looked at me, I felt like I was in a trance, and I had a strange sensation that they were telling me we came in a peace mission. Just like the case of the surgery, never published, it's still a bit weird, and the coincidence on the other fact that happened at the same time with the same details of the occupiers and their suits, and even the mental communication. I decided to put the two reports in a special dossier for future reference. The case of the surgery is still not finished, as I'm a doctor and I live in Rio. I will be going to the field to see if I can find leads or any proof, or between my patients or between other doctors, about the case of a person that cured of gastric cancer in an inexplicable way. Love you very much, guys. Have a good night and Merry Christmas. Stay blessed.